Hello and welcome to this video. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some array methods or functions. And the first array method we are going to take a look at is the shift method or function. Now, this particular method removes the first element of an array. Next, we have the pop function or method. This particular method removes the last element of an array. Then again, we have the unshift function, which adds a new element to the beginning of an array. The push function adds a new element at the end of the array. Then we also have the splice function, which adds elements in a specified way and position. Again, we have the sort function, which sorts elements in an array in an alphabetic order. Now, the reverse function sorts elements in descending order. Then the concat function simply takes two or more arrays and then joins them into a single array. Then finally, we have the index of method or function, which returns the index of any element in an array. So these are the array methods we are going to take a look at in this video. So let's head over to our code editor, and then we are going to take a look at each of these methods and see how they work. Okay, so as we can see, I have my code editor opened on the right hand side, and also I have my web browser on the left. So we are going to output in our code in the browser's console. So I've simply navigated to the Chrome developer tools, and as we can see, we are using the console tab here. So let's go ahead and create two arrays, and the first array is going to be names. So let's say var names, and it's going to contain names of people. So the first name is going to be John. Then after John, we are also going to have Mavis. Then we can have David. So let's end this with a semicolon. Then we create another array which is going to contain fruits. So the first fruit is going to be orange. Then we can also have apple. And finally, let's have some mangoes. So mango. And let's also end this with a semicolon and save our work. So to log something inside the browser's console, we are simply going to be using a function called console.log, and any piece of data I pass here is going to be outputted in the browser's console. So let's say hi, save this, and we can see we have hi in the browser's console. So we are going to be using this technique. Let's take out the hi here. In fact, I just need only the hi. So I'm going to say names equal to, then I'm going to have an opening square bracket. Then I am going to concatenate this with the name of the array, which is names. And I'm also going to concatenate that with another string of text, which is going to be the closing square bracket. So in case you don't know what string concatenation is, don't worry at all. We'll be looking at it in a later video. So we can see we have our names array and the piece of data that it holds. This is because I want us to be able to keep track of whatever we are doing. So I'm going to copy this, but before that, let's end it with a semicolon. And I'm going to copy the whole of this, paste it, and we are simply going to change names to fruits. And also over here, we change it to fruits. Let's save all this. So now we have our second array, which is fruits, and it contains orange, apple, and mango. So let's take a look at the first array method, which is the shift method. So we said that the shift method removes the first element of an array. Let's see that in action. So I'm going to call the names array names, then I'll say shift. I'm going to simply open and close parentheses. So to call a function in JavaScript, we basically use the name of the function followed by an opening and closing parenthesis. And that is all we need to do. So once I do this, nothing is going to happen because, of course, I am taking out the first element of this names array, which is John, but I'm not doing anything with whatever is left in that particular array. So I am going to log this array again. So I'm going to copy this code. And so basically what I'm doing is this shift function is going to remove the first element of our names array, and then we are going to log the array again. So let's save all this. And so surely we can see that the original array had John, Mavis, and then David. And because we used the shift function, now the first element has been taken out. So that is how the shift function works. Now the pop function rather takes out the last element. So I'm going to change this shift to pop, P-O-P. Let's save all this. And as we can see, John is back, which is the first element. Mavis is the second element, is also there. The last element, which is David, has been taken out this time around. So that is what the pop function does. Then we also spoke about the unshift function. We said that particular function or method adds a new element to the beginning of the array. So if we say unshift, we are going to pass whatever element we want to add. So let's say we want to add do. What is going to happen is that we are simply going to add this name called do here before John. So let's save all this. And now we see we have do, John, Mavis, and David. So that is the unshift function. Now let's go to push. So push does the opposite of the unshift function, in the sense that when I say push, it is going to still add this do, but it will add it at the end of the array. So it will add it after David. So let's save all this. And now we can see we have John is the first element, followed by Mavis, followed by David, and then finally we have do. The next method we are going to take a look at is the splice method. Now, the splice method allows us to decide where precisely we want to either replace any piece of element, or if we wanted to insert a new piece of element anywhere within the array, we can do that using the splice method. So we basically call the name splice, and this takes 3 arguments. The first one is the index, the position where we want this particular piece of data to either be inserted or replaced. So maybe if I say 2, it means this is going to be inserted at the second index. So you remember we said arrays are 0 based, meaning that the first element has an index of 0, the second element has an index of 1, and then the third element will have an index of 2. So let's go with the index of 2. Then the second argument specifies the number of elements we want to replace. So if actually you don't want to replace, but you want to add this do here to the array, what we simply do is we pass 0, meaning it shouldn't replace any element there. So if it's not going to replace an element, it's rather going to add this piece of text. Then we have our comma, and finally we'll have our piece of data that we are going to insert at that particular position. So let's save all this, and now we can see that we have John, which is at index 0. So Mavis is at index 1, and then now our name, our new name, which is do, has simply been inserted at position 0. Now it didn't replace David because we told it not to replace any element. But if I change this one to 1, meaning it should replace one element at that particular position. So if we save this, we shouldn't see David anymore. So we'll save this, and surely we can see that now we have John, we have Mavis, and David has been replaced by do. So that is how the splice method works. Next, we are going to take a look at the sort method. So the sort method doesn't expect any arguments. We just call sort, and it is simply going to sort our arrays in alphabetic order. So we have John, we have Mavis, and David. So when I say names and I sort it, we can see that now we have John, Mavis, and David. So the next function we are going to take a look at is the reverse function, which is going to sort elements in descending order. So let's have reverse. Let's save all this. And now we can see that the elements have been sorted in descending order, or the opposite order. You remember that the original array had John, Mavis, and David. Now this has been sorted to read David, Mavis, and John. So this is what the reverse function or method does for us. Then finally we have the concat function, which joins several arrays into one array. And so for this, what I'm going to do is we are simply going to take one array, and then we are going to join another array to it. So we are going to take the names array, and we are going to concat it with, meaning we are going to join it with our fruits array. Now, after we've done this, because I don't want to change the original arrays, I'm simply going to assign this to a new variable. So var joined arrays equal to. So now we can console.log our joined array. So I'm going to copy this and paste it over here and save all this. And now we can see that our concat function has simply taken whatever was in our names array, and it has joined it with whatever was in our fruits array. So we can see we have John, Mavis, David, and now we have orange, apple, and mango. So that is what the concat function does. So now let's see the index of function in action. I'm just simply going to take out this part and then cut it out, and I'm going to remove all this. And so instead of console or login names and all these things, I'm simply going to delete all this and paste what we cut before. So what we are doing is this: we are simply going to pick our names array and we are going to return the index of whatever element we pass here. So I'm going to take out this string and I'm going to pass a new string of text, which is going to be any element at all in the names array. And when we save this, we can see we have 0, which is the index of John. If I pass in Mavis, we are going to get the index of 1. So let's save this, and now we can see we have the index of 1. If we pass David, we will get 2 because David is at position 2. Okay, so this is all I have for this video, and if you like these videos that I create, I urge you to click on the subscribe button because it encourages me to create more of these kinds of videos. And if you have any comment at all about this video, do leave it in the comment section below. And bye for now.